the leader of the gang, he's just like, shut up. You need to follow instructions. You need to follow instructions right now.
As I understand it, you've been to every country in the world at this point, but 3.
But 4.
But 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So which ones are the 4?
Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Central African Republic, and Libya.
Okay. I was missing Turkmenistan.
Right.
Okay, right.
But I will cover it soon.
I think you're going to Afghanistan like
Exactly.
in a month or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to hear about how that is. I wish you all safety and good travels there.
Thanks.
But just as a small introduction, Dimitriji, you're from Austria, right?
Right.
You're from Vienna?
Right.
Right. But you live everywhere.
Pretty much on the road, traveling maybe 10 to 11 months a year.
Okay.
Being
Yeah.
on the road.
And how long have we known each other now?
Probably
7, 8 years?
must have been at least.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. And so just as by way of background, we met because you're like the tour leader for my aunt's travel company, the Happy Travelers,
Right.
and many other tour companies as well. And so you you lead all of the tours in all of these different countries. And I have to say you do an excellent job. Everybody loves you as our tour guide. So I mean that, and it's been a pleasure to get to know you and to get to hear about your stories. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, is to hear about like what motivates you to travel everywhere. Where have you been? And to tell me a little bit about your experiences. I understood that you used to be a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Right? But when did that change?
It changed last year.
Why is that?
Or let me see, it was actually 2021. It changed.
2021.
Yeah. During COVID period.
Yeah.
I ended up once again in Cuba, one of my favorite places.
Yeah.
But just 1 week after I arrived there, Cuba had just reopened, right?
Yeah.
There were not many countries open during that time, so
Yeah.
I decided to go back to Cuba.
Yeah.
After many years of absence from there.
Mm-hmm.
And just about 5 days after I had arrived, Cuba decided to shut down again.
Okay.
So it was very difficult to move, but it was also very difficult to get some food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even without that, it would have been difficult because they're going through a very particular hard time. The economy is crippled and food shortage and so on. But during COVID, you can imagine how bad it was.
Yeah.
So to get any food at all was difficult enough. Forget about vegetarian food. Yeah.
Right.
And it was tough. But after a week or so, I said, okay, gotta give it a try. Need to try that. And I tried some pork, and I have to say I was really worried because I thought maybe my stomach doesn't really take it.
Yeah.
After how many years? Maybe 15 years of not touching meat at all.
15 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I felt also the flavor and just the texture will be kind of unpleasant.
Mm-hmm.
But to my greatest surprise, it was actually all right to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
My stomach was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since that, the next day I just ate chicken, or I don't remember what it was, and it was good.
So you all the way back.
All the way back.
Yeah. So what is your favorite meat food to now indulge
Oh, I don't know. I could not say one particular favorite meat food.
Yeah.
It depends more how it's cooked, how it's
sure.
done.
Situational.
So yeah, it's not that I would have one particular favorite
in?
food.
Yeah. Give me one that you like.
Can be anything. Can be pork.
Schnitzel.
Can be chicken.
Viennese
I mean,
schnitzel.
this is the typical dish of Vienna, of course,
Yeah,
Viennese
yeah.
schnitzel. But if you go to 10 restaurants in Vienna,
Yeah.
the 10 times it will taste different, and
Different
maybe
schnitzel.
8 times out of the 10 I won't like it.
Okay.
But if I make it myself, or if I make it together with my mom,
Yeah.
we churn out some fantastic Wiener Schnitzel.
Oh,
That's
man.
right on top of the priority. So
Oh,
you're
man.
welcome to pop by anytime.
I'll take you up on that.
Good.
Yeah, take some very local schnitzel.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
So you were in COVID, in Cuba during COVID.
Right.
But I remember you told me before you got to Cuba, I mean, that was your chance to get out of Vienna, where you had
Exactly.
kind of had to park for a
Right.
little while. You had to stop
Right.
because the world shut down, right?
Yeah.
So tell me that story a little bit. Back me up into how you, because the way I understand your lifestyle to be, minus COVID, is you're working in the prime months of the summer, doing the tours, doing the travel experiences and things like that. And then when you're done working, you go travel.
Exactly.
Every time,
Exactly.
right? And where are some of the top places that you always go somewhere new a little bit, but there's some return locations as well?
Yeah, but there are few return locations because I always wanted to go somewhere new. I
Yeah.
always preferred something new,
Mhm.
even though I already figured it out before that it might not be that great or that beautiful or whatever.
Yeah.
But I always preferred something new over
Yeah.
something that I already had
Gotcha.
known before, even though it was great there.
Yeah.
So every year on my travels that are always happening during the winter time, and they usually take like 6 months,
Mhm.
I always try to go to some new countries, maybe in combination with some countries nearby where I've been before, but always throw in a few new countries.
Okay. And so before you got kind of forced to go back in quarantine and back in Austria, where were you? Where were you when COVID struck? Where in the world were
I
you?
was on a trip that started in Peru,
Yeah.
and I flew from Peru to Brazil. And when it really got serious, I happened to be in Brazil. I was at the waterfalls at Iguazu Falls, and I
Okay.
was there the last day. The next day, they closed down the waterfalls.
Okay.
I mean, the switching, they didn't turn off the
Ah,
tap,
yeah.
but
No
they
more
closed it
entry.
to the public. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is that that's near Rio de Janeiro?
No, it's
or-
not real near the Rio de Janeiro. It's
Okay.
close to the border with Paraguay and with
Ah.
Argentina, so quite a long way
Okay.
from Rio.
Yeah.
You need to catch the plane. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't just drive there, yeah, from Rio.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there I realized it, and I just realized it through a friend because when I travel, I don't follow the news. I don't watch TV. I don't read the newspaper. I don't check it online. And a friend of mine who likes to travel with me, who's also a travel freak, sort of.
Your
he's-
Irish friend.
My Irish friend,
Yeah.
right? He sent me a WhatsApp and he said, "How serious is the situation at the moment in Brazil with COVID?" And I said, "COVID? Oh, the flu." And he
Yeah.
wrote back, "Well, man, it's something a little bit more serious
Yeah.
than a flu."
Yeah.
I said, "Why? It's the usual thing that happens every year." Anyways, he said, "Oh, no, man. They just closed down all the pubs in Ireland. If they've closed down the pubs in Ireland, then it's
Then you
really
know it's
serious.
serious.
Then
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
yeah,
serious.
yeah, yeah.
Already the schools are closed, public transport has stopped, and so
Yeah.
on." So then I started to look into the matter, and I became aware of what was really going on. I realized I won't make it back to Peru because Peru had closed the borders. My flight back to Europe was leaving from Lima, from Peru. Couldn't make it there. And then I started to get a little bit worried, and I still thought, wow, okay, I mean, Rio, I make my way back to Rio
Okay, that's
from
when you're in
Iguazu.
Rio.
Yeah. But at the airport at Iguazu, it was already a very, very weird feeling, you know, all these tourists running around and being very hectic and panicking, and everybody just wanted to get an international flight out of the country. And I thought, wow, I don't know, all these people are getting so nervous. Okay, I just fly back to Rio. Went back to Rio and checked into a hotel, and I thought, well, I'm gonna hold out there for maybe, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and then this whole thing will be gone.
Yeah.
And on day 3, when I got down to the front desk from my room, they said, "Sorry, but you need to check out. We closed the hotel because of COVID." So then I started to get really worried. I looked up the flights back from Rio to Vienna, and they were very expensive.
Yeah.
I only found one half decent priced flight, but that was 1 week later.
Okay.
So I bought that flight, and I thought, I will find accommodation for 1 week, and it will be all right. So I found another hotel, but it was a pretty eerie feeling there. Then the stores closed down. And Rio is not a very safe place. You know, you have lots of people living in the streets.
Yeah.
Crime rate is very high, already under normal circumstances anyway. And then I just pictured, well, you know, all these homeless people,
Yeah.
if they don't get fed by the restaurants that hand over the meals, you know, that
Right.
have not been consumed
Right,
to the
right,
poor
the
people at night,
leftovers.
the
Yeah.
leftovers.
Yeah.
So what will these people eat?
Yeah.
They need some food, right? So
Yeah.
things might get really nasty. It was also the time when the president, Jair Bolsonaro,
Yeah.
he had a very strong opposition against him.
Yeah.
They were very much against him anyways already, and then he wanted to keep the country open. That caused a big controversy in Brazil.
Yeah.
So I just pictured that how bad it could possibly get.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just witnessing, on the beach. I tried to calm down my mind. Went to Copacabana beach and just witnessing that some tourists got dropped at the beach, and then the taxi driver I took, he said, "Oh, in the city center, you can't go anymore as a taxi driver because the homeless people are stopping the taxis and they're robbing them, the drivers." So, oh man, I don't know, this is not so good. And then I decided just to pack my things, go to the airport, and try my luck. Although for that particular day, I Googled it, there was no available flight. So I made it to the airport just about maybe 1.5 hours before the flight with KLM took off for Amsterdam. And I lined up at the counter, and I was the last one in line, of course, and it was my turn. I tried to be as calm as possible, although in reality I was really shaking, and I really wanted to get out of Rio.
The last person.
The last.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I just said as calmly as possible, "Well, I would like to change my flight." "Okay, when would you like to fly?" "Today, right now."
Yeah, right now.
Right now. So they don't
Yeah.
check. And she said, "Okay, here's your boarding pass, but you need to be fast because check-in, the check-in closes within 10 minutes or so." Yeah.
Oh boy.
So I ran over, put my luggage on a little belt where they check in the luggage and everything. I made it. I had overweight, but the guy said, "Look, on a day like today, I don't
Just
care.
go.
Just take whatever you want."
Yeah.
I made it on a plane, and when we took off, looking out the plane, it was a very strange feeling. I looked at it and I felt, wow, now I'm leaving Brazil, I'm leaving Rio, but I felt a little bit like, on one side very happy, but on the other side sad, and I felt like I'm almost deserting the place. It was a very strange, awkward feeling. And I only had gotten my boarding pass as far as Amsterdam, but I needed to connect with another flight to Vienna.
Yeah.
And they told me, "Look, we have no idea if there will be a flight, if you can get on it."
Yeah. Just get to the continent, though.
Right,
Just
at least the continent.
Yeah. You drive or ride or hitchhike or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then being at the airport in Amsterdam, I realized, wow, there's a flight to Vienna within 1.5 hours or so. No time to lose. I ran. I needed to line up somewhere to get my ticket, and I managed to get it. In a very last moment, I boarded the flight back to Vienna, and then it was just really strange, arriving at the airport. It was so empty. I've never seen an airport so empty. Very strange atmosphere. Everybody with masks.
And was like the city of Vienna also kind of shut down? Like with the curfews? Because we had curfews in Amsterdam. You couldn't be outside. Of course, masks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this was early 2021.
This was March.
March 2021. That was, yeah.
When they all started to close
again.
down. When they all started to close down.
Yeah.
I mean, public transport was still running.
Yeah.
So I managed to get on a public bus. I needed to rent an apartment on Airbnb.
Okay.
Luckily, because of COVID, the prices were really low on Airbnb.
Right.
So I found something nice in a good location of Vienna, made my way there. Well, and then just like everybody else, I guess, being in quarantine and getting used to this new situation.
Yeah. And so how long, well, this must, first of all, be very strange for you, right? To have to be kind of forced to stay in one place. You're used to always moving. Yeah. How long were you in quarantine? How long were you?
The initial quarantine was, 7 days, I think. I was locked in.
Just the arrival quarantine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Then there was the general quarantine, but luckily in Austria, they always the rule that, okay, you can leave your flat or your house for doing a little bit of physical exercise in the vicinity of where you live, and you can go out to buy necessary things such as food or medicine.
Yeah.
So of course I used that chance after the initial quarantine was over. And by then I also started to tune in into the new situation. Yeah. And in fact I have to say it was somehow very interesting. It was so quiet. I enjoyed the city being so quiet, very little traffic, very few people walking around, no pollution. The air was crystal clean, crystal clear. So the real problem was, of course, because I was out of job for 2 years, so I couldn't make any money.
Yeah.
That was the real bummer.
Yeah.
But for the rest, like some people freaked out because they could not meet their friends, they could not go to a bar or to a pub. I had no problem with this whatsoever. I didn't feel like I need to go out to socialize or go to a restaurant. Yeah. Actually, I learned how to cook finally because I never had time to cook. I'm always traveling, so I always eat out. But this was the moment when I finally learned how to cook.
Okay. What do you cook? What are a couple things?
Simple things.
Simple things. Schnitzel.
But they're good.
But they're good.
But they're good,
That's
I tell
important.
you.
You don't need everything, just a couple
No,
simple good things.
it's very limited what I can cook,
Yeah.
but what I cook is really good.
Nice. It's amazing that you've been nearly everywhere in the world, but 4 countries. And what motivates you? What drives you to do it? What drives you to go to these dangerous places?
Well, I guess it's the same motivation that drives other people to, I don't know, climb up a mountain, risking their life, or put themselves into a racing car and drive. It's just a real strong passion, and that passion was always inside me, even as a kid. I remember, when I was a kid, maybe, I don't know, 5 years old, I laid down on the grass, looked up at the sky, and whenever I saw a plane flying over, I thought, wow, where's this plane coming from? Where's it going to? What kind of people are sitting in there? What are they experiencing when I get off?
Curiosity about what's happening.
Always, when I was on my uncle's car, when we visited some family members that lived in a different part of the country, I always like to look out the window and just take in the sights. Wow, this is how it looks like, and now a different city, and now the mountains, or now the hills, or whatever. And whenever we arrived, I always felt sad. I always felt, no, don't stop the car. Keep on going. Keep on going. I want to see what
Keep
comes
seeing
next.
more new things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was always within me, this very strong desire and passion
Yeah.
for traveling and seeing. Well, and somehow I started, and I went to, let's call it like regular or normal countries where usually the backpackers go,
Yeah.
Southeast Asia, Latin
Start
American countries,
Yeah.
the starter countries.
Yeah.
And then when I
Starter
ran
coun-
out of
starter
the
countries.
and when I ran out of the starter countries,
Yeah.
I needed to go to the next level, of
Yeah.
course, and go to places where people maybe usually don't
Travel
go,
less,
and
yeah.
maybe places that are way more uncomfortable or maybe not so secure.
Mm-hmm.
And right now there's just a few countries, like 4 countries left over.
Yeah.
And as Afghanistan is one of these countries, I just felt, okay, it's about time to do it.
It's
and go
about
there.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said you were telling me recently about how it might be a decent time to go in between, even though the Taliban is in power. And
Yeah, this is
it's
what.
going to be a little bit sketchy, but
Yeah, but this is what I figured out, because I was always having it in mind over the last maybe 8 years, 9 years. I was thinking about Afghanistan, but because of the situation there, I thought, no, it's not right yet. And I just figured that once the Taliban are in charge again, then it will be safer to travel there. It might be very bad if you live there,
Yeah.
but as a foreigner to travel there, I
Yeah.
figured that this will be a safer time than
Because there's
having
not-
them in a position,
Yeah.
them fighting the government and
Yeah.
having all these potential problems.
better to have just one leading group versus the infighting,
Yes,
which then you
exactly.
can get stuck between. Okay.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So this at the end was the reason why I decided, okay, let's do
Now's
it
the
right now
time.
this year.
Ah. Oh boy. Well, we're gonna have to do like another catch up here in 6 months when you return. It's all say or not a couple months from now to hear about that. How that went.
Right.
But there was one story you told me a few years ago. If you don't mind sharing, you got a near death kind of near kidnapping. Like,
Oh, the kidnapping. Yeah.
Yeah, what
Well,
was the
I mean,
kidnapping? Where
near,
was
near
that?
death, there were several,
Several of those. That's
experiences near
normal.
death.
That's
yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the kidnapping near death, it was more kidnapping than near death, that
Okay.
situation. But yeah, it happened
Where
in,
was that? Yeah.
in Tanzania.
Okay.
Tanzania.
Tanzania.
In Eastern Africa.
Yep.
And it was in Dar es Salaam.
Mm-hmm. You go into this area.
Yeah, into this dead-end street and
Yeah.
the high walls. And as he slows down, he honks the horn.
Yep.
He stops the car, and the gate opens, and these 5 guys are rushing out, run towards towards our car. And I still remember, without thinking, something slipped out of my mouth, and it was, "Now we are fucked."
Oh, you said it.
Yeah. And this is what it was. The guys came on the car, squeezed us in. I remember one got in the car in the front,
Yeah.
who was the boss of the gang.
Uh-huh.
One crawled over the seat. It was a longer car. It was like a little stretched limousine.
Okay.
And one crawled over me. He was behind me, so he had his arm around my throat. One sat right basically on my right lap, on my right leg. And then it just went through all our stuff. The boss in front, he was the only one who really looked evil.
Okay.
He had a real scar, and he looked just like a
And
gangster.
he went into the car. He wasn't already.
Everybody was in the car, yeah.
But at the beginning, it was only your driver. and then
Only
all
the
these people
driver
get
and
into
the
car.
nice guy.
And the nice
who
guy. Now
befriended
all
us.
the-
Now everybody inside.
Gotcha,
And
yeah.
it was hot. The engine was switched off.
Yeah.
Nobody can see what's going on because of the
Yeah, the black
dark,
windows.
the black windows. it gets really stuffy and hot. And then the leader of the gang, he's just like, shut up, shut up. You need to follow instructions. You need to follow instructions right now. Okay, well, we had no doubt that we need to follow his instructions anyways.
Yeah.
And they just went through all our stuff. My Irish friend, he had bought a nice semi-professional Canon camera with beautiful lens.
Yeah.
Just for the trip because he wanted to become a professional blogger. So that was gone. Then he had about 2,000 euros in cash on him. That was gone. They took his passport, they took his credit card. Then they went to search for my other friend's stuff, the one who got paranoid. So they didn't find the money because they didn't search his socks and his shoes. And he had put it there, right?
Oh,
because
look at this, the newbie.
Right,
the
newbie.
beginner.
Yeah, but the watch was gone, his passport, his camera, his phone.
Yeah.
Also my other friend's phone, of course. So basically everything of value that they had.
Yeah.
Then I went to search for my things. It was my video camera, my phone, my regular still photo camera, my passport, my credit card. And they did not find my cash because it was in a money belt and that was tucked underneath my pants. So they did not see that.
That's the best spot probably, right?
Yes.
4 socks, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then, the gang leader said, okay, this is not enough. This is not enough. Do you have
Where
more?
is
Do
it?
you have more
Yeah.
money somewhere? And I really get scared at this point because I thought if I say no, and if the body search me, they will
And then
find
they
it.
find it, and then you
they
say-
maybe, they beat me up or something.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, where is it? Give it to me. Give it to me. Okay, Mom handed this over. So all my stuff was gone as well. And then they started to discuss among them. They started to count the money, to separate it among them, And it was getting harder and harder and harder. And then, of course, the mind kicked in. So what are they going to do next? And my biggest worry was, in fact, that they're going to put the bag over our head so
take
you
you
can
some-
see any longer, and
Yeah.
they drive us somewhere, and I can breathe. So I was really worried about that. And later on, when we were safe again, I asked my other 2 friends what they thought. And the one friend from Ireland, he said he thought that they're going to lock us up in one of these places there, the rooms, and they will force us to call our families and parents and friends to send money, to transfer money. And once, the money is finished, that they will kill us. Yeah? So this was his thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then the gang leader said, okay, listen, now you write down your PIN number of your credit cards and don't write the wrong number. Don't write the wrong number or it will be very bad for you. Yeah? So of course, among the 3 of us, we didn't dare to talk. I just hoped, that they're going to write their PIN number, their
Yeah,
correct
just
one,
do it.
don't
Just do it.
provoke them.
Yeah.
We wrote it down, and then my friend, the paranoid friend, he was so afraid because of his passport. I don't know, and he said, "Oh, please, my passport. Can you give me my passport?" And the gang leader turned around and said, "Listen, you want to see your blood? If you don't want to see your blood, shut up right now. You just follow instructions." Oh, okay, it was clear. Okay, better shut your mouth. Then they drove us around somewhere, and they drove us to a sort of a factory, and that looked really bad, like an abandoned factory. I thought, oh no, this does not look good at all. I
nothing
don't know
ends
what
well
we are
in an
doing here.
abandoned factory. Yeah.
No. And then they discussed again among them. I assume it was Swahili language. Of course, we didn't understand what was going on. So then when they started to drive again, and we drove into a more populated area where the gang leader got off, the others stayed on the car with us. And he went to get money out of the ATM with our credit cards. And he was gone for maybe 10 minutes or so. So in the meanwhile, the driver, he starts to turn on the radio, and some African music is coming on. Contemporary, modern, like hip-hop style, yeah? And I listened to it, and I had been mugged before, I had been robbed before, and I always tried to establish a certain communication with the...
appeal to their humanity.
Exactly,
right?
that's it, yeah?
Yeah,
To
yeah.
convert myself into a human being for them.
Yeah.
Not just
Just
a
a
walking
cash machine.
machine, yeah?
Yeah.
And I said, brother, is this local music? They said,
Okay.
no, it's from Kenya. So I said, oh, you got some local music on you? And they started to look through his stuff, and they couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
And the same day, early in the morning, when I walked around the ghetto, I heard some real good rap, local rap.
Yeah.
So I went into the store where the music came from, And I asked, is this local music? He said, yeah. I said, please, can you throw this on my USB stick? So I had it on my
So
USB
you had
stick.
some music.
One track, rap, Tanzanian rap.
Oh man.
So I said, brother, can you play this? So he popped in the music, and when the beat comes, I could just see his head, going like this.
Little bit
So
of
I
this.
knew he knows it and he likes it.
likes
Yeah?
it. Oh,
and I felt,
man.
wow, maybe we established some sort of human relationship right now.
Right.
So before the track was over, the leader comes back, gets on a car, they talk, and they drive off. And it was absolutely impossible for me to read him,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, is he happy? Is he unhappy?
Yeah.
What's going to happen next?
Yeah.
And they started to discuss again. And I had the feeling that the leader had one opinion and the others were against him with what to do.
Okay.
With us, most likely.
Yeah.
So they drove out and we went to the suburbs, and then there was only like fields. And then I thought, okay, now it's
it.
clear. This is it.
This is
They
it.
will tell us, okay, get off, walk, and they will shoot us from behind. I was sure that this is going to happen next. But they talked, and the gang leader was, wah, 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 wah. So then it turned back again, and we came to a more populated area, and they continued discussing, and then we drove out to the fields again, and then back in again.
Like,
and
kill him.
yeah,
don't kill him.
exactly,
Kill him, don't kill him.
exactly.
Terrifying.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And then at least, they stopped the car, and the gang leader gave back our passports and our credit cards. And I forgot the detail. That was very important. Before it was clear that we get kidnapped, the nice man who had talked to us, he asked like 3 times, oh, how long are you going to stay here? For how long are you going to stay in our country? And I said, oh, we just came to sleep one night. Tomorrow we're leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning for the Seychelles.
Yeah.
And that was true. But I wondered, why is this guy asking 3 times? Does he have such a bad memory? And why is this so important? But I think this might also have saved us.
Yeah.
Because they knew these 3 guys, they're going to get tomorrow early in the morning on a plane.
Yeah.
They can't even do very much,
Yeah.
So better than 3 white guys lying around
Murdered.
somewhere dead
Yeah.
in the streets or in
Just
the
let 'em
fields.
go. It's
Let
not
them
worth
go.
it.
So
Wow.
this is why they gave back our passports,
Right.
our credit cards. Of course, they had emptied them.
Yeah.
And then he even gave us a little bit of money, and they said,
Wow.
look, you get out of this car now. You take this money and you take a 3-wheeler, this rickshaws, like a simple version of a taxi, and you go back to your hotel. Don't stay here. This is a bad neighborhood. This is mafia territory.
Thank you for
and
the
we are
advice.
part of the mafia, yeah?
Oh.
And don't talk to anybody about what happened. Don't talk to the people at your hotel, because all this stuff there is part of our mafia.
Wow.
So he gave us the money.
Did you get your music stick back, your USB?
Wait, I'm coming to this point. He gave back the phones to my 2 friends.
Yeah.
They had expensive phones, and I had a cheapie. The cheapest, what was it?
Flip phone. or
Cheapest, Huawei that was on the
something.
market.
Oh, okay.
And he kept mine. And I didn't understand, but afterwards when we talked about it, my friend said, no, it was because the better phones have a tracking device, and the
Okay.
cheapest don't
Yeah,
have it,
yeah, okay.
So anyway, I felt, my God, and I was really not sure, can I pull this off or not? But I said, excuse me, brother, you gave back the phones to my 2 friends, but you didn't give me back mine. This is the cheapest phone, It's worth maybe right now not even $100,
Yeah.
but all the photographs that I took on my
Yeah.
journey
Yeah.
across your continent
Yeah.
are on this phone.
Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
please, give back this phone. And to my big surprise, he gave it back to me.
Wow. So you got your photos back.
Yeah, at this moment I didn't know, am I supposed to say thank you or
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
I really was not
Thanks.
sure.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if I said thank you or not. Anyway, I got it back. And then we were about to get off the car. And then I thought, oh, man, my videos, all the videos in my video camera. And I said, brother, I'm sure you want to keep my video camera. But I ask you, as a human being,
Yeah.
from one human being to another human being, please give me my card.
SD card. Yeah.
Give me my SD card, because all the videos from all this journey
Yeah.
across your continent are
Yeah.
on this. Well, and he gave back my SD card.
Wow.
I saved the videos.
Wow.
Then we got off the car, and we were about to walk away. And then I thought, oh man, there's one more thing. I'm not sure. Can I do this
Can I
right
ask
now or
one
not?
more thing?
Can I do this or not?
Yeah.
So I said, okay. I said, brother, excuse me, but you still have my USB stick
With the song.
with my rap track on
yeah,
it?
yeah.
He gave it back to me, and when I was back in Europe, I popped it in the computer, and I saw the name of the artist.
Yeah.
And what is his name? Young Killer.
Oh my
That
god.
also fitted in perfectly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to give me this music.
I will pass it on to
We'll
you.
put it on this.
You can put it on your
It's
show.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh man. When was this? What year was this?
Wow, man. This was maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago. 5 or 6 years ago, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. Well. So the moral of the story is appeal to people's humanity.
Well, yeah, if you want to.
Well, or don't go there.
No. I
No,
mean,
go.
for me, yeah, go there. But
Go there,
okay, be
yeah.
prepared for
Be
anything,
prepared
right?
for anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
If things happen, yeah, that maybe appeal to people's humanity.
Then
maybe,
appeal to people's humanity.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know you have thousands more stories, and we don't have enough time for those, but keep them. We're going to talk again, and I wish you safe travels in Afghanistan, Libya, Central African Republic, and Turkmenistan.
That's it.
So, I'd love to even join you on one of these. I'm not sure which one, but we'll see. Maybe, let me know how Afghanistan is, and then we'll talk. But
Okay.
I really appreciate you coming on to tell your story, talk a little bit about travel. I hope this, maybe not this exact story inspires people to travel, but just the general idea of getting out into the world, following your curiosity, going to see new places and try new things. So, you've been an inspiration to me in my travels, and I love to, see you every time we come back to these happy traveler trips. And I really appreciate your time, and I thank you for coming on to Frogland Season 1. Thanks, Dimitri.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. Just say something like, hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Do you hear me? Is everything clear and cool? It's okay if I drink from here once in a while?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Is it beer?
No, it's a cider.
Cider. What kind of cider?
Apple.
Apple cider. Nice. Alcoholic?
A little.
A little bit. Nice.
Not as strong as beer.
Not as strong. But you got the beer label there.
Would you like to try?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah, it's good.
It's actually not that
Not
great.
bad.
Usually it's better. There's something like a little evil twist to this one.
Okay.
Yeah.